as a model, I can't make speculation on those kinds of things. That's beyond my purview, and my data's too old. There are tools around the world that don't have those checks on them, right? That they're just going and they're offering up information and hypothesis and whatever. That's an imposition that we've applied here through the masters at OpenAI.
Oh, you can get around it super easy.
Yeah, don't tell me that because I'll go down there.
Oh yeah. All right. Here. I'll leave you. There's 10,000 things I could tell you. I'll leave you with one. You can tell it to act like something to get around it. So if I ask you, I say, okay, what's your views on A, B, or C? It's, I don't have views. I'm a language model, generic. If you say, act like the best marketer in the world and then answer this question, it'll do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Prompting is the new skill. So we actually used it. We currently recognize it as $100,000 a year in savings to our current business model. Right out of the gate. Yeah. For $20 a month. We, got the premium, so it's always available because we start to rely on it. But yeah, to me, I've been spending a lot of time in Chat GPT, and I can't see how, I think what most people think will be here in 5 years will be here within the year.
I could see that. So many times we apply, and I don't know why we do this, but if it took me this long to get from here to here, then I'm going to apply some algorithm or some multiplier of that to get to the next leg. I just don't think that. I'm sure you know this. 5 years ago, it was all the rage for everybody to say, in the last year, more data has been created in this last year than in the history of the world. We don't even say that anymore. Like this month, more data has been created. In the data center business that I'm in, we're just watching this, what we thought was a hockey stick before in terms of data creation, data manipulation. It wasn't even barely a blip, it feels like. Now it is full on Atlas V, Elon Musk era rocket, straight up in just data creation, which means then energy consumption, resource consumption, fiber connectivity, like all of these ancillary, all this digital infrastructure that has to support that. And there's no way it's sustainable. Like there's just not enough material in the next 10 or 15 years that we know of today to build out the infrastructure, much less the employees or the whatever to build that out. Because it's, once we get a taste of this thing, to your point about Chat GPT, maybe we can come and tease this out a little bit more later, but I just discovered this last week. Somebody kind of told me what they were experimenting with, and when I got back here, I started messing with it. So I've got to host Dan Kokotov, who's one of the founders at Rev AI.
Okay.
I've messed with Rev AI, which is a great talking to text tool. And I've messed with Otter. I don't know if you're familiar with Otter AI. And here's what I do. I take my recordings. So you take this recording that we're going to make today, and I upload it to Otter, for example. Otter ingests it and runs through and timestamps everything. Now I have to go through, I'd say it's probably 70% accurate. You may use a similar tool. It timestamps it identifies the voices. And so I have to tell it that's me and that's Joel. But once I do that, it's got it for the rest. And every now and then it'll miss because of an accent or the quality of the recording. It'll miss a word. But basically it does this really cool transcript. Then I take the transcript to Chat GPT and say, summarize this transcript of the conversation between me and Joel. And it can't handle all of the words yet. GPT-4 should be able to do many more thousands of words. Our conversations at an hour and a half tend to be about 15 to 18,000 words, somewhere in that area. But you can then, so what it does is I don't feel like I'm cheating. It's not teaching me anything new, but instead of manually re-listening to my conversation, timestamping it, summarizing it, Otter does this for me in 20 minutes. And then I break it up into bite-sized chunks for ChatGPT and go to it and say, take this transcript between me and Joel and summarize this section. And when I'm done with it, I have, 5 of those, because it'll do about 3,000 words at a time. Then I take that, put that back into ChatGPT, because it can't take all 16,000 words, but it can take this summary, which is now about 2,500 words, summarize this summary, And it's really interesting how sometimes it hears things that I didn't hear in the conversation because it might have been a week ago or 3 weeks ago, or there was a lot going on because I was really concentrating. For all of these reasons, these tools are amazing. I was part of the conversation. I researched just like you do before you have your guests coming on, what we're going to talk about. But what this tool does is it helps me to organize my thoughts on what are the snippets out of this. It saves me so much time, to your point about saving revenue or costs in your business. And it helps to distill it for me. Now, it's not telling me which of these 12 points or whatever are valuable. I decide that. But it is absolutely a purpose fit, these tools to accomplish that for me. I cannot wait to see how these get smarter and help me to get better at this post-production. It's amazing.